Welcome to the Blessed to Teach show. This is Rick, your host. Here we are on February 19th, and we are going to be talking about We Are Qyou. We are the news. A ton of new Qyou drops today. I think he said over almost 60 in the last three days. Crazy stuff going on. We got an SB2 Decode, a special guest, financial expert. We'll be introducing him here in a second. I see a bunch of people coming on. We got Chase and Terry and Lou. Thank you guys for coming on. We see Larry from St. Louis and KB from WV, wherever that is. West Virginia, there we go. Texas and Oregon and Northern California, Minnesota, Waco, Arizona. Thank you guys all for coming on. We got Idaho, Missouri in the house, Oklahoma. Thank you guys. All right, we're going to be digging into some critical topics here. I love to bring Bob on every 4 or 5 weeks to get his new updates. Bob from Trade Genius, and he's just got such a great background. Some of you may not know him because we're getting almost 100 new subscribers a day here. So we're going to start out with some introductions. So let me bring Bob on, who's on my Zoom right now. Exciting stuff. See if I can grab this, move it up so I got him on. Bob, now we can see you. So would you mind introducing yourself a little bit for those who haven't seen you before the last few months?
Yeah, I'm Bob with Trade Genius, and so we have a company that does trade signals, trade education, and personal coaching in the stocks, ETF, futures, and the crypto space. And my background is I'm born and raised Pennsylvania boy, Marine Corps officer, spent 25 years in corporate America, finishing up as an executive doing M&A work, and then kind of semi-retired and went into solar business, but I've always had a passion for trading. And then we built some algorithms, and about 8 years ago we started a trading service and we branded it Trade Genius, and here I am today, and just some exciting times now in the market, and with cryptos and gold and silver, and just love to share that information with people and help people learn how to make money nearly every day in the markets.
Yeah, and the thing I love about Bob is he is awake. He understands Qyou. He understands the Patriot movement. He understands what Trump's doing. He understands the corruption in the Federal Reserve. And so that's what I just love about getting your insight on all the time. And I know that just lately, I just sent forward your article about the Fed actually, Qyou actually posted about the Fed actually sending tons of money to Iraq during the Iraq War, and it was lost and most likely funneled back into the corrupt politicians. It's just like crazy what the Fed's doing nowadays.
Yeah, you just can't keep up with because the money's fungible, so they can launder it any which way they want. I mean, they're laundering it through Mexico with the drug trade. They launder it through these wars. Who knows how much of that Iranian money came back our way too. It's just, once that money's printed, it's just digital coins out there, and that's why people like me love the hard currencies, the cryptos, the gold and silver, things you can't press a button and create that's real money. And what these guys are doing is just a digital playpen for them to amass power and control. So
the fiat currency, right?
They're shocking me at all.
Yeah, exactly right. It's just crazy. Hey, I do want to show, I don't know if it's too early to jump into the charts, but you showed me some charts earlier and I was going, wow, I want to show my audience that. It's kind of what's been going on in the market and how that has really, and I don't know if you can see my screen, but I'm showing your first chart. That's the Bitcoin one that did the 14% in 12 hours. You want to talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, people have been talking about crypto's dead, and we beg to differ. And, we're traders, so we don't mind it being in a trading range for a while because we'll buy it on the low end and we'll sell it when it gets to the top of the range while we're waiting for the breakout, which will come. And so I just wanted to show you that we have an algorithm. You can see the arrows on there that when those algorithms hit and we get a momentum signal at the same time, it tells us there's a high likelihood of profit. And in that case, it was 14% in 12 hours. We've been getting a number of these lately, Rick. What it's telling me is that as they're trying to test the market down, there's big buyers coming in now. And with the crypto space, and we don't show all the Bitcoin, but just showing you those 4 charts. I mean, people are making 10, 12, 15, 20% in a month in crypto still. You can't make that in the stock market.
Yeah,
And
that's for
so
sure.
it's a great place to make money, especially if you believe, as we do, that the banking systems are going to be under tremendous stress. No accident that Jamie Dimon's coming out with a crypto coin. You know, he's a smart man. Don't ever confuse his nefarious ways with his intelligence and his savvy. He's ahead of the curve. This guy owns more silver than anybody else in the world, and he's on crypto. And what that tells me is that, and this guy's also the most conservative banker out there too. He's saying he doesn't trust the banks, and he doesn't trust the government, and we should be paying attention to what he does. And what he's saying is, look, I got to be able to move money to my customers in a way that's secure, and I'm not going to trust bank to bank wires to do it. And that should wake us all up, saying, hey, look, the banking systems are suspect. And Bitcoin and Litecoin, Ethereum, you know, the coins in that ilk, the ones that have value, like Populous, doing trade invoicing and things of that nature, they're all going to find value again. And we're gonna wake up one day, and we're going to see these coins that are just up 2, 3, 4, 500% again. We go into this next round of a parabolic move. Look, New York Stock Exchange this morning just came out and told people it should be in your portfolios. This is the NYSE, you know, the people that do stock trading are telling people that they need to be into cryptocurrencies. You got pension funds out there now. The first pension funds ever are allocating parts of their asset base to cryptocurrencies.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's starting to get mainstream. It's a smart thing to do.
And that's what I took of your training. I think I told you that the first one I picked was cryptos because I just wanted to get smarter on it. And just, by the way, I just wanted to interrupt and say and let people know we're going to get to all the Qyou posts. I promise. He's actually talking about just this, the Federal Reserve corruption, right? And so I think it's important. For one thing I love about Bob is he gives us some great advice about the gold miners and silver miners is really interesting as well. These safer potential bets versus this fiat currency that we've all depended on, as Trump looks to take down and restructure the Fed, right?
Look, it's all tied together. I mean, you know, what Qyou's talking about is really the deep-seated corruption that's bubbling to the surface that's going to get exposed. Well, guess what? When this stuff gets exposed, where do you think people are going to put their money? Mm-hmm. So it's one thing to know about this stuff's going to happen. It's another thing when it starts to happen and people start to panic.
Yeah.
You know, that where are you going to put your money? And there's no accident. Gold miners, silver miners, and cryptocurrencies are all doing really well.
Yeah, I look at Litecoin right here where it talked about a 10.53 or 31% jump there. And
it's done that 2 or 3 times since the beginning of the year.
Yeah. And I see what is that, 12.54% jump as another one that you marked out. And these are based on all your buy signals. I love how the Bitcoin one showed 4 different buy signals. I'm looking at this other one that you have here, which is just go to other. This is at the very, what does this say? Tether US 60 Beyonce. What's that? Oh, XRP.
That's a Binance coin with XRP.
Okay.
Even the centralized coins are doing well as well. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and then the altcoins, that people who follow crypto, the altcoins are now moving against Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's moving up. So that means you get a leveraged trade, which is kind of like having ice cream with syrup on top.
Yeah, because you do the ratio between them, right?
You do, but if the underlying currency of Bitcoin is going up at the same time, you kind of get a twofer. Mm-hmm. And so we're seeing that as well. So just tremendous opportunities to trade with us if you want on crypto. And then gold and silver miners were doing extremely well. And I threw you my track record. That's the last 95 trades we did. You know, we're running at a 200% annualized rate. And it's all our algorithm. You know, we take the emotion out and just show you that just the opportunities are just sitting there waiting for you. And we guide you and we provide these signals, and we educate you on how to set your charts up so that you could follow along as well. And
so is that what this chart says about the 62.11% win percentage and the 59 number of winners, right?
Yeah, you don't have to win all your bets to make a lot of money. You know, if you lose quick. If you win, you let them run, and you can make a lot of money. And it's all based on our signals and our algorithms. So it's nice. It's simple. These aren't penny stocks. These are normal stocks. You can go on our website and you can look at all our our trades, and you'll see a lot of big names in there. So you don't have to even chase little stuff to make a lot of money, and that's what we do. So and things are the things you're talking about and the things we doing are absolutely tied together, Rick, and it's just going to get more. That stuff's going to get exposed by Qyou. The more we're gonna see these alternative assets come back into the fore. And look, Europe's ready to tax Facebook and Google and rip out their profitability. And if they do that, it'll tank the Nasdaq.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The SPY. And as I said, this stuff's coming. We're going into a political winter. And people need to be aware of these things. It all ties together. Qyou didn't happen in a vacuum, and what Qyou's going to expose is going to cause ripples throughout the economic and financial community.
Yeah, I think that's amazing right now. So, talk a little bit about the gold and silver miners. Is it, you can trade, so that these are mining companies that are literally mining the gold and silver, right?
That's right, and there are small ones, there's large ones, and they're all public companies. And then you buy them in the stock market, and you buy them when they're low, and you sell them when you're high, and then they trade in a range just like cryptos do.
But it's in regular stocks, is that right? But they're stocks and safer, kind of. They can hit almost like a hedge against the Googles and the technology companies, right?
Yeah. So we always say that the gold and silver miners are basically a vaccine against prolific governments, and cryptos are a vaccine against stupid politicians. So, these things go hand in hand, and you have to have these in your portfolio.
Right. Okay. Well, great. Well, tell them a little bit about how I know what I love about you don't take a percentage of the trade or anything. You just train us, right? And so tell about your program and how and where we'd find it.
Yeah. So we trade, educate, but we also provide the trade signals as well, so people know that we actually.
That's what I love. Getting text to say, hey, buy Bitcoin now, or do this ratio here now, right?
Exactly. We text it right out to you or send you email, and you go to tradelikeagenius.com. We have bundles set up for you guys. They're good till Thursday night, and we pre-discounted them for you for your listeners, Rick. So like up to 60% off on some of these, and you'll find something that will interest everybody in there. You can either be educated, you can get coaching, you can get the trade signals, you can get all the signals, and you can actually get the signals on your computer as well. So we actually have a program where I can just download. We call it the Money Maker. Download it right on the TradingView software, and you can trade things that even we don't trade, because the algorithm is always looking for value right before it's ready to move higher.
Right.
And that's it.
Wow, and I tell you, with Barr coming in, I think it looks like even the posts we're about ready to review, it's like, wow, he's getting serious. This is going to happen now, right? The real investigations, and so the politicians are going down. The Fed's going to be exposed. So it is like you said, a political time to hedge your bets against that.
Yeah, look, I think the Federal Reserve, central banks around the world are running scared. It's one thing, if they're dealing with a fascist government because they're of the same ilk.
Right.
But they're scared to death of this new communism that's coming and displaying itself in Italy and in France and in United States with the left-wing presidential aspirants.
Right.
And
Bernie just announced today. Bernie just announced today. Yep.
I know he's 80 years old. God love him, but he's going to get. There's some really, really nasty undercurrents that this is the kind of stuff that when Cuba went under, that's the kind of nastiness that these people are trying to whip up. They're talking about taking everything from everybody, and you notice the billionaires now, they changed their tune. They realize, oh my gosh, what have we created? And the central banks are like, hey, you know what, Trump ain't that bad, So we better support this guy, because the alternative may hang us from a lamppost. And so I think those are things that really, in seriousness, to be really careful about it. These people have zero morals. I mean, look, these are the same people that have no problem killing a baby coming out of a mother's womb. Okay, you think they're going to care about you?
Yeah, your finances.
Yeah. So I mean, dead serious. I mean, there's some pretty whacked out people out there, and they're getting a voice. And so, you're going to have to hedge against normalcy, and we hopefully can help you do that.
That sounds awesome. So again, tradelikeagenius.com. There'll be a link down below this video. And also on my show notes, you'll be able to find Bob on tradelikeagenius.com. I'm doing the crypto stuff, guys. By the way, I'm on lesson 7 and hoping to get my free coaching session. Got rescheduled twice. We're going to get it done in the next couple of weeks so I can get all set up to start trading on this. So I appreciate that, Bob. I appreciate you taking
you're welcome.
the time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, I'd love to have you sneak on again in a month or so once we see what's going on with the Fed, as it looks like there's some big stuff coming down the pipe.
We're living in interesting times, Rick.
All right. Hey, thanks again for coming on as a guest, and you're welcome to stay on as long as you'd like. We're going to start digging into these Qyou posts right now.
Oh, go fire away. I'll sit back and listen.
Okay, you guys sounds great. Hey guys, we're going to be looking at some exciting Qyou posts here. Let me flip over to this other view here. And here we go. This was an amazing series of posts. This latest one, just look at this. It was actually just came in after I was ready to go live. You see President Trump being tied up, and look at, he's being tied up by Pelosi, and Schumer's taking his shoe off. And you've got you've got the Ninth Circuit Court there saying no wall. And he's pressing the button. You can see all these other people. You got there's Cortez actually putting a stake in the ground. CNN's taking his tie and trying to pull him down. Everybody's tying him down like the giant. And you've got Obama's there staking. Rosenstein's putting stuff there. There's Omar, impeachment. Maxine Waters, of course. You got Mueller being there, all trying to tie him down. And he reaches up and presses the emergency button. But did you guys see what the blue on the emergency button was? Look at that blue. What is that? It's a Qyou. He puts a Qyou right in the middle of the emergency button. I'm going to go to so I can blow this up big for you guys. Look at this. So the emergency button and the blue siren up there has a Qyou on it. So we got Ben Garrison and all these cartoonist guys actually really doing a great job showing what's going on, all these enemies of Trump, but he's this giant that breaks right through the ropes and hits their emergency button, and the emergency button is Qyou. That's why this is like, we are Qyou, we are the news, right? And so Bob, you're off camera, so you don't have to, you can, but we can hear you. So if you want to comment at all, jump in. But it's fun. So let's get into that. That was post. If you go back and look at all these Qyou posts, this was number 2822. I'm going to refresh real quick to see if any more came in. Then we're going to go back to 2824. Look at that. Oh, he blew up for us. Look at that. So Qyou did and actually zoomed in on the Qyou when he didn't want us to meet that. And so an anon says, "Lovely, such a lovely Qyou." Looks like an anon did this, and Qyou just reposted it for us. That's 2824 is the latest one. By the way he's going, we'll probably get some more while we drain the rest of these. 28, 23, I'm just going backwards right now to show you. All he needs to do is ask, because somebody says he needs to be invited to the White House. Qyou. So I think they're talking about the person who did this. Who is this? You guys probably know. It says Gulliver's President. So it's Grrr Graphics. So this is the guy that does this. Grrr Graphics. GRRR Graphics. This guy is amazing. So I don't think that's Ben Garrison, is it? Let me know. You guys can let me know online if you think that's Ben Garrison or it's another artist. But basically, Q's just invited him to the White House. That's pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. And now if we go back here, we'll show you where we ended up. Q's 100% from the Qyou. Oh, no, that's not it. Let's go back where we ended up last night. So there's probably 20 of these again. It's just amazing. So this is where we ended up right here, where reconcile wow every major news network is expending resources covering QAnon and basically calling a conspiracy theory, trying to get you not to watch QAnon. So we did review that one. And then monitor placeholders for Patriot Fight updates. This is where we ended, 2803. This is amazing. He put all those placeholders, remember, all those placeholders. So look for the placeholders updates at the Patriot Fights. What's amazing about the Patriot Fights is indictments, arrests, declasses will force worldwide coverage. Leaks, bribery, collusion regarding the media will force resignations with follow-up criminal prosecutions. Qyou. So Bob, there you go. You can see the criminal prosecutions are coming according to Qyou. And
That's amazing.
yeah, with Bob coming on, I mean, with a Mr. Barr in place, it's going to start happening. And it says look for placeholder updates. Same thing we just read, but then he amplifies on it again. This is what we haven't seen yet. It says first placeholders, OIG report, D-class, other released facts regarding 18 U.S. Code Chapter 115, which is treason, sedition, and subversion activities. Qyou. That is 2803 and 2804. If you go to 2805, he reposts 2804 and he puts one of Comey's tweet on here. This is interesting. This happened really late last night when I was about ready to go to bed at 10:39 p.m. You can see we have a tweet here from Mulber Twitter, and it has Comey, and Comey is saying this coded message most likely. He says, every time you assault a stereotype, a person, you've ripped the social fabric. Every time you see that person deeply and make him or her feel known, you've woven it. And that's a quote from David Brooks, 218 New York Times, is right that we all need to be weavers if we are to heal our beloved country. So that's Comey tweeting just after Qyou posted about the place markers. And so then Qyou reposts Comey's or posts Comey's tweet and says, drop put you on notice? Wow, there's Qyou trolling Comey directly. Then he says, direction to bunker down, stop talking, or risk being assaulted, because his tweet was about assaults. And then Qyou basically continues and he goes, a woven elaborate nest will not save or protect you, nor will the CIA further provide you with actionable intelligence. Wow, completely trolling Comey, saying he's not going to get any more intelligence, and he even comes back to the woven elaborate nest will not save or protect you anymore. And he says, cold on the outside, traitor's justice. Qyou. Wow. Taking Comey's tweet and just tearing it apart, showing that you're not going to get any more CIA help. Getting your weaving web is not going to save you. Is it cold on the outside there, Comey? There is a true troll that we're getting from Qyou. And then even worse, he reposts the meme he's posted several times in 2806 that shows behind bars Bill Clinton, Loretta Lynch, Comey, Clapper. It's got Huma. It's got Hillary. It's got Rosenstein. It has we got Podesta, Obama. He had them add Brennan to this. It's already got Mueller in there. And so just the fact it says, now that Russia collusion is a proven lie, when do the trials for treason begin? So just the fact that Qyou is actually reposting this again just shows you that we have a direct threat that Barr is going to be going after prosecutions. Right? Nothing's been more direct than that right now. It's just amazing. Here is a big long one. So this will take a while to read. 2807. Welcome to the real world. And this is a topic: taxpayer theft. Insider versus outsider. And this is the one I was talking to Bob about a little bit, where he's talking about the Fed. It says insider versus outsider. Retain control versus lose control. Kennedy was an outsider, assassinated. Reagan was an outsider, assassination attempt. POTUS is an outsider, classified high. So basically they're saying that classified high is that the assassination attempts against him is classified. So I believe that's the multiple assassinations. Every time they said, as the world turns, since that's what the soap opera that was playing that was interrupted when Kennedy was assassinated, that every time they said, as the world turns on Qyou, I think there's 12 of them or so, it was an assassination attempt that was thwarted on Trump. But again, it's highly classified. How much cash How much money, cash, was sent by the Fed to Iraq war? And look at these links. This was just shocking to me. I didn't realize this. How the U.S. sent $12 billion in cash to Iraq and watched it vanish. Bob, did you know about some of this stuff that happened in 2011 of all the money going to Iraq?
I did. They said there was billions missing, and also inventory that can't be accounted for either.
And inventory, wow. And it's amazing just to see how much corruption has been in our government, and that they take the wars they create, and now with the Patriot Act, they have a continual of wars they can do. So Qyou just dropped again. All right, Justin, thanks for the update there. We'll get to that. And then they have a Reuters article here about U.S. sent pallets of cash to Baghdad. And this goes through a whole another article and talking all about it. And they go, these articles were back in 2007 here. So 2007 article, 2008. But he's just trying to remind us there was 363 tons of cash into a war zone. So they just print it, right? On December 12th, 2003, 1.5 billion was shipped to Iraq. Initially the largest payout of the U.S. currency in Fed history. Wow. It was followed by more than 2.4 billion in June 22nd, 2004, and 1.6 billion 3 years later. The CPA turned over sovereignty on June 28. And then we learned that they raid. Well, let's get this one. Here's a CNBC that takes the same thing about Iraq. New York Fed's 40 billion Iraqi money trail. We're talking about 5 billion for a wall to make us safe, and the Fed sending 40 billion to Iraq to basically funnel back to the corrupt politicians in a variety of ways, which the Qyou post is going to tell us about. How much money, cash, was confiscated from the Iraqi central bank? So another article. So there's flashbacks. Saddam Hussein, $1 billion bank heist. So there's another multi-billion-dollar thing, 900 million here, $100 bills, 100 million in euros, that basically they took from Saddam. Where'd that all go? Well, back to all these crooked politicians is what Qyou's insinuating. He says right here, example, not intended for public awareness. So here's another article that we weren't supposed to know about. It says, investigation into missing Iraqi cash ended in the Lebanon bunker. So guess who controlled Lebanon after they took over Gaddafi, right? It was the ISIS funded by McCain and Hillary and the crew, right? So and over the next year and a half, 12 billion to 14 billion was sent to Iraq in aircraft. An additional 5 billion was sent by electronic transfer. Exactly what happened to that money after it arrived in Baghdad became one of the many unanswered questions from the chaotic days of the American occupation. And then it goes on. We're almost done with this, Bob. I'll let you go after this. I just wanted you on this one because it's so just right down your alley with the whole. It says, now, if it worked in Iraq, why not replicate in Iran? How much money, cash, was sent to Iran? You mentioned this, Bob, when we were just talking to you. And here it is. It says U.S. paid Iran 1.3 billion 2 days after $40 million cash transfer. And then they sent a bunch of other stuff as well, assets, etc. And so the amount of this could be much, much higher than what we were talking about. This article is a mainstream media article, so we're probably not going to get the full truth. So then he ends with this, with about 10 statements. This is a pretty long post. It says, who controls the distribution of funds? Who accounts for the funds? Who has access to the funds? Who really has access to the funds? Do funds return in the form of political donations? Do funds return in the form of massive donations to foundations and or institutes? Do funds return in the form of offshore bank accounts for future payments and payoffs? Replicate, environment, green, aid assist, etc. No honest control in place. No checks and balances in place. No safeguards in place. threat of an outsider becoming president, loss of control. And then he links that YouTube, the famous 5-minute YouTube video that says this is going to get Trump elected, where he talks about this is all about taking down a corrupt organization, right? I'll just play the first 10 seconds of it because it gives a summary of it, the first 10 seconds, right?
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you.
So that's where you go. It's a failed and corrupt establishment, and it's going to replace that government with a government controlled by us, we the people. So trillions of dollars at stake, controlled by a group of special interests, illusion of democracy. These are all quotes from the video. Welcome to the real world. We cannot afford to lose this rare opportunity to right the wrongs. We the people must reclaim what is rightfully ours. We must rise. We must fight. God bless the United States of America. Qyou. Wow, that was 2807, a classic Qyou drop, I believe. I mean, if you don't mind, Bob, can I bring you back on just for 2 more minutes to comment about what I just went over?
Oh yeah, no problem. It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, so I'll bring you up and just say, and just brief so I can see you on video. So, wow, I had no idea. I knew that we were doing corrupt things with Iran. I had no idea all that happened to Iraq. Were you aware of some of that?
Only tangentially. I mean, they were always talking about the GAO, trying to understand why there's so many missing funds, and the other thing too is, some of the black projects get funded this way as well. This is how they circumvent Congress, and whether it's something that you support or you don't support, it's just they just move that money out, and the CIA has been notorious of using drug money, to fund operations elsewhere that they can't get funded by Congress. So that surprises me. It's a sad state for me because I love our country so much, and I always had such high opinions of what we did in terms of idealism, and then you find out that there's an underbelly here to us that's pretty sad.
It is sad. It is really sad, isn't it? It's exactly right. So wow. Now, I really appreciate you taking the time and bringing your expertise in the financial sector, and I do appreciate it, Bob.
No, thank you for having me. It was fascinating listening to it. I just think we're in acceleration mode now, so strap in.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right. Well, you have a great time with your family.
Thank you.
Well, you take care, buddy. All right. So,
Bye-bye.
Guys, we have that was fun to have Bob on for one of those awesome drops. Again, I think was just a classic drop is what it was, and that is 20. I'll remember this one, 2807. Woo! Here's 2808. Gets into thank you, Patriot, and this person did I think a 29-minute video, and man, he got Qyou.
What's up, everybody?
29-minute video that basically goes over Qyou proofs. I've gone over a lot of Qyou proofs videos, right? That you just went to QYouProofs.com. This guy does a real good summary, starting from the very first Qyou post, and then does a 29-minute video really saying that, like I was telling anybody that really wants to research this, it's impossible not to believe that Trump is working with QAnon, and QAnon's working with Trump hand in hand. So great video, great one to forward, and if you're Qyou, you know that if Qyou looks at that, he approves of the entire video. So go check out that video. This is done by Where We Go One, Where We Go All channel, and again, it's got 118,000 views now. now that he's been Q'd, so I'm sure he's gonna get a lot of new subscribers too. So good for him. Video QAnon is 100% coming from the Trump administration. So that proves that out. Here is 2809. Trump administration launches global effort to end criminalization of homosexuality. I'm sorry, I read that first. I like to read these first, but this is kind of funny because here, and I remember seeing signs. I was kind of shocked in 2016. It had gays for Trump, right? And so it's like he's uniting people of different colors and creeds and etc. It's just people that want to save the country, right? And he doesn't. He's not being vindictive toward people and their different beliefs and saying you have to believe this. He believes in the freedom of religion, and he believes in other freedoms. So this is totally against what, and it's coming from NBC News. Exclusive, Trump admin to launch his global campaign to end the criminalization of homosexuality in dozens of nations where it is still illegal to be gay. U.S. officials tell NBC News a bid aimed at denouncing Iran over its human rights record. So, but the fake news punishes a narrative that POTUS is homophobic, racist, you name it, right? And this kind of shows just the opposite of that. And so obviously killing somebody because they're gay is probably not the best thing. I mean, of course, I'm a biblical Christian, so I do think that we all have sin, though, and we all have sin, like I talk about in Romans 3:20, right? So you got to be careful of judging people for what they're doing, because we all are corrupt, right? And there's a lot of homosexuals coming to become Christians and changing their lifestyle as the Holy Spirit helps them get out of that lifestyle. So, but it's exciting to see just the fake news being highlighted even more, right? 28:10. Go start from the beginning. Small samplings of proofs. Patriots in control. You are the news now. And this was talking about this whole video that we just talked about, the 29-minute video that shows 100% QAnon is 100% coming from the Trump administration. And so that's what he's talking about there, because if you go back to here and go back to 8chan, it'll bring you to that video again. Okay? So even though they're split between the videos, that's the main thing they're talking about in 28:10. If you go to 28:11, it's talking about, and Anon says, in control of what? Nothing. That's what. So this is a troll, shill, and I've never seen Qyou post a negative comment before. This is funny. It says, are you ready, shill? Survival of the fittest. Qyou. So this guy got underneath Qyou's skin, right? Are you ready, shill? Survival of the fittest. And he sends a U.S. military video. In fact, this one says, and I can't play it because it's a specific song and I get a copyright violation, but it says, scary, U.S. Armed Forces, United States military power, 2018. How powerful is USA? And it just goes through, and it's got Army, Navy, U.S. Marines, and in the end it starts playing a really cool song and showing them battling, right? And in action. Is basically saying, okay, shill, you don't think we're in control? We control. He who controls the guns wins in these battles, right? Just as by the Venezuela, the way he's kept power is because he controls the military right now. As if he loses that military, he's gone, right? Because he who controls the gun wins. And Qyou, the NSA, military intelligence, controls the guns. So in control of what? Nothing. That's what this shill says. And he gets slammed back by Qyou. I thought that was a classic here too. And then you have, who is Qyou? We are Qyou, is what in 28:12 we're reminded of. We are Qyou. Right here is 28:13. Joe DeGeneva discusses McCabe's 60-minute interview. And this is funny. If you go listen to this, I don't have time to go over it, but it's like an 11-minute video, I believe
Joe,
it is.
good morning, sir.
14-minute video. And he just does a really good job just tearing into McCabe. So does Dan Bongino, by the way. So did Hannity tonight. So if you really want to understand what McCabe was doing, the main point I would like you to take out of that is that the reason he talked about justifying the investigation was all stuff that happened after they had been investigating for a year and a half with an illegal investigation, right? So everything he said was, well, Trump fired Comey, and that was happened afterwards. You can't go search for a crime with based on the fake dossier, based on getting it illegally from a perspective of not even telling the fiscal court that you had used opposition research. I mean, that is a third world country stuff when you have opposition research being used to investigate, to justify spying on another candidate. That's just crazy stuff that happened. But so the main thing is every single thing McCabe said pretty much indicted himself on a coup attempt on the 25th Amendment, but also every reason why the investigation started was after the fact, not what Dan Bongino would call paragraph 1. Where did it start? How come you started? You had no justification for starting the investigation. So the illegal coup is being exposed publicly now. This is the great thing. The Great Awakening is actually happening now. Where it's been so slow, it seemed like, the last 3 or 4 months compared to where we were going right before the elections, and just seemed like I was expecting it to accelerate. Now we're finally seeing that acceleration. 2814. This is a Sarah Carter article, and he's going to be talking about discretion must be applied when dealing with matters of national security, sensitive, ongoing investigations. So this is Devin Nunes complaining in this article. 1 year later, the president ordered ODNI and NSA to do more than a year ago. We have yet to see that implemented, so Representative Nunes tells me. ODNI and NSA impede lawmakers' review of Obama administration unmasking requests. So this article is a really good detailed article that basically talks about how they're not getting unfettered access that they want to all this, right? And you'll see, and it's real interesting because this basically is Nunes complaining that they're supposed to set up these unfettered areas to where they can go review all this material without the redactions and without the unmaskings and all. I mean, without the redactions and without the be able to see all of it, basically, right? Unredacted. And what Qyou's telling us is what I've been talking to you guys about a long time. Just like WikiLeaks giving us a little bit of information, they're only letting out what they want to let out, right? So sorry, but they got a bunch of sirens right outside my house here. But discretion must be applied when dealing with matters of national security / sensitive ongoing investigations. So there's ongoing investigations about this. That's why they didn't let Congress have access to this, because Congress leaks like a sieve. Right? Every time, especially when you got the Adam Schiffs of the world in there, right? Everything gets leaked, and everything they had would be leaked immediately once 50 Schiff saw it. Info released to date was necessary in order to refute the fake news narrative and provide the public with a taste of the truth, i.e. future events. Conference sources, confidential sources, house that you gain critical from is, and he tells us later, there's an error here, I'm going to go right here. He basically says, info between critical and from. So right here, when he's talking about critical and from, so confidential sources, house that you gain critical information from, and simply one of many vehicles used by design. And then he confirms how this information is being released is controlled at the top. No leaks for this reason. Qyou. That is pretty amazing if you think about it. ODNI and NSA impede lawmakers' review of Obama administration unmasking requests, but Qyou's telling us that's because it's controlled at the top, and this is the way they keep leaks from happening. And so, sorry Nunes, but we can't trust the House. We really can't. That's what Qyou's pretty much telling us. 2814 gets into the same thing and basically told us that the info was put in there, so it's the same exact thing. And we just had already reviewed that. 2816 gets into declassification of all requests documents plus more will occur. This is not a game. Do not let personal emotional desires do it now. Now. What is taking so long? Now. Take over. Don't let the personal emotional desires take over. Logical thinking and strategy should always be applied. Game theory. We all want to see equal justice under the law. New threats. Investigations by the Southern District of New York, Adam Schiff, Maxine Waters, in an effort to delay, prevent, release, insurance extension will fail. Thought this was interesting. The whole insurance policy that Strzok and Page were talking about, right? And that really was this whole investigation that went on of the Russia, right? And the fact that was actually that they're looking to actually extend it. Well, that's going to fail. Sorry, Maxine, in brackets. Sorry, Adam Schiff, in brackets. Sorry, Southern District of New York, in brackets, right? Transparency is the only way forward to find the following: treason, sedition, subversion, conspiracy to commit ... Do you understand and fully appreciate the gravity of this situation? Do you understand and fully appreciate what POTUS endures each and every single day? He loves this country. He loves you. We must stand together in this fight. There's evil in this world. There's darkness in this world. There are those in power who wish to control and enslave you, to keep you sedated, to keep you unaware, to keep you blind. This will be on our timetable, and we will deliver transparency and prosecution. There is simply no other way, except one in brackets: Q. You guys, when I first read this, I haven't studied anybody else's opinion on this yet. I just thought except one is basically suicide weekend, right? It's the only way they're going to get out. Transparency and prosecution, unless it's suicide weekend. So that's kind of what I look at. I said Ronald said hi from Michigan. Smash like button. Thanks, Mark, for asking people to hit the like button. But wow, this is another, I think, just classic Q drop, 2816, where it's just telling us, guys, everything's going to come out, but this is going to come out on our timeline. It's the military strategy timeline. It's the timeline of taking not just the talking heads down, but the evil behind the scenes, not just in the United States, but worldwide. It's the gravity of the situation is amazing. The deep entwined cabal that was about ready to take down the entire United States of America and many other countries is being unraveled. It's crazy. 2817 says, country versus county. So if you went back there, I read it as country, but it was spelled county. So it says, Q's just saying air maid, always on the move, Q. So Q actually had a misspelling in that last one. That's all that is. 2818. And this repost the September 15th, 2018 post. And then I'll just post it by itself. So let's dig into this. So this actually had a link to the CFR 2010 Title 3 Volume 1. So it says Executive Order 13526, and this is the funny part. This is where Obama basically put these classification provisions, right, all the way back. And so this is Executive Order 13526. And I think what was funny about this, if you added those together, I think it was 17. I can't add that fast. It's 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 17. So this executive order that adds up to 17, Executive Order 13526. If you go to section 1.7, so there's two 17s here, which is just bizarre from this executive order from Obama. It says classification prohibitions and limitations. A, in no case shall information be classified, continue to be maintained as classified, or fail to be declassified in order to, number one, conceal violations of laws, inefficiency, or administrative error. 2, prevent embarrassment to a person, organization, or agency. 3, restrain competition. Or 4, prevent the release of the information that does not require protection in the interest of the national security. Q. This is amazing just to think that this executive order that Obama gave actually shows that you can't say you can't declassify things just to prevent embarrassment to a person, an organization, or agency. It is going to embarrass the heck out of the FBI, the heck out of the DOJ, the heck out of the State Department. They're going to be completely embarrassed. And there are also, it's going to show that they had violations of law, inefficiency, and administrative errors. So those first two just nail them big time. That's 2818. Here we are on 2819. These two are new since I came I believe. I know they weren't. Gosh, there's so much to go over. It's crazy. We're going to go long today because I want to go over this SB2 as well. So the White House Office of the Press Secretary for immediate release, September 17th, 2018. Statement from the Press Secretary. So this was way back September 17th, 2018 when he ordered the declassification of a lot of stuff. Number one, pages 10 through 12 and 17 to 13 of the June 2017 application to the FISA court in a manner of Carter Page. That's what Nunes and others, Jordan, were asking for specifically, right? All FBI reports and interviews with Bruce G. Orr prepared in connection with Russia investigation, and all FBI reports of interviews prepared in connection with all Carter Page FISA applications. So that was cool, but this next part is awesome. In addition, President Donald J. Trump has directed the Department of Justice, including the FBI, to publicly release all text messages relating to the Russia investigation without redaction of James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and Bruce Orr. That is awesome. Save time skipping how SB2 got to the answer. Just give us the answer. That's another way, Lou. That's probably right. So here's Donald Trump. And then he basically did, this is all the way back in a while ago as well. I met with the DOJ concerning the declassification of the various underredacted documents. They agreed to release them, but stated that so doing that may a perceived negative impact on the Russia probe. Also, key allies called to ask not to release. Therefore, the Inspector General has been asked to review these documents on an expedited basis. I believe that he'll move quickly on this and hopefully other things which he is looking at. In the end, I could always declassify if it proves necessary. Speed is very important to me and everyone. Now, that was a long time ago, and that's what's been frustrating to me. But look at review time Qyou. So basically he's telling us the review of all these text messages, all these things from the Carter Page FISA that was redacted are going to come to light, and it's review time. Then in this one, he's going to say review time again, right? That's 2820, and now he's saying, I hereby demand and will do so officially tomorrow that the Department of Justice look into whether or not the FBI DOJ infiltrated or surveilled the Trump campaign for political purposes, and if any such demands or requests were made by people within the Obama administration. So he asked for this all the way back in May 2018, but now it says review time. So he's going to get, because now that we have Barr in there, the new Attorney General, he's going to do it. Here's another one where he said, I hereby demand a second investigation after Schumer of Pelosi for her close ties to Russia and lying about it. So here she is. She's lied and photo contradicts Pelosi's statement about not meeting with Kislyak. The Democratic House leader sat with the Russian ambassador and other officials in 2010. And she lied about it. Review time. So he's going after Schumer. He's going after Pelosi. He's going after Comey and McCabe and Strzok and Orr and Page. And it's all coming out. So just probably not in our timing. We probably hope it's next week. It's probably going to be a while. 2821. Thoughts and prayers. May you be comfortable by the outpouring of love surrounding you, Qyou. He's talking to an anon, and it's really, I had to go back to 8chan to actually find it. So let me see if I can find that real quick because I had queued it up for you guys. But I've opened up a lot of articles since. That would be the one that showed me. I'm going to go one at a time. Have we opened all these articles? We sure have. We've reviewed a lot of material already. We opened up all that stuff. We opened up the graphics. There it is, Qyou Research. So this is really sad. This is an anon. And some of these anons have a lot of time and are pretty lonely people, right? For a variety of reasons. This one says, Anons, you have been my fam and my friends since Qyou came into town on October 28, 2017. I love you so much. I have to go and take a very sick dog to the vet to put down right now tonight because her cancer has gone too far. If my significant other were still alive, I'd reach out. But brain cancer got him a few years ago. If my parents and bestest friend were alive, I'd reach out to them. But they're all in heaven now too. So you guys are the ones I know I can lean on for a little support, because saying goodbye, even to a bloody old doggy, can be so hard. And our time together here with Qyou has taught me how connected we are, even though we may never meet. I thank God for you guys, and I'll stay strong for my suffering pal tonight, because where we go one, we go all. You guys helped me say goodbye to a very old dog last winter too. You helped me so much. I will introduce you to all my loved ones when we meet in heaven someday. For now, thank you, friends, for letting me share my sadness. I need to stay strong for some upcoming battles, and you help me more than my words can ever convey. And Qyou says, thoughts and prayers. You may be comforted. May you be comforted by the outpouring of love surrounding you. Qyou. This is a tight community. They're coming together. I reviewed this whole 28-22 with you guys. Just a hilarious, just beautiful graphic about Trump being a giant, just tearing across everybody, trying to destroy him, and pressing the emergency Q alarm. Here's 28-23. He needs to be invited to the White House, and Qyou says yes. And then he blows up on it and shows us there's a Q there. And that was it. So let's somebody said there was at least one more, so let's refresh this puppy, see what we get. Yeah, we got one more. It's pointing to a mobile Twitter. It says, filters picking up many references tonight. Desperate to sway opinion? Q. So basically this must be another hit article on QAnon. Watching NCIS New Orleans. They are talking about Q. Interesting. So NCIS New Orleans must be probably, I would guess, another hit piece against, talking about how it's all conspiracy theory. So Qyou posted that saying, filters picking up many references tonight. Desperate to sway opinion. Wow, it looks like we finally nailed this after 57 minutes. So let me go quickly to the SB2, and we'll do what Lou suggested, is just basically talk about more of the conclusion than the whole piece of the logic that we did there with them. It is here. I do have to run through the sponsor real quick, though. If you're proud of Trump like I am, get a President Trump 2020 Freedom Coin. This is amazing, just history, I think. I think I'm going to be able to holding up these coins and basically say, hey, I owned this before the arrest happened. The President of the United States, Donald Trump 2020 coin, which is, again, you get in gold and silver, 24 karat gold's like $1,950. So you can get this for only $35. The back of the coin's amazing, delivering as promised. Again, put this in your 401k, your IRA rollover. It lists 4 of the accomplishments about the first major tax reform in 30 years, unemployment rate lowest in 18 years, jobless claims lowest since 1973, Dow Jones highest in history. I think this is the last time I talk about this month. So get yourself a Trump 2020 coin. Again, TrumpCoin2020.com. TrumpCoin2020.com. You'll see the link down below as well. Make sure you put blessed, just blessed, I'm sorry, in the coupon code. Again, you go here, make sure you view the cart, and there will be a coupon code right here that you actually put there. And you can actually also order them into a display box if you'd like. But again, a Trump 20 coin, grab yourself there, be part of history. Let's talk about this SB2 Decode. This is Trump's message on the battlefield. I look for money back. Next move coming. Serial Brain 2. So where were we? Yes, I told you about the 2 F-15s that they met. I'm going to kind of skip here, guys, because there's a lot of stuff. It's a little bit shorter one and it's talking about. Did you see if I can get to this if I can summarize this, or I'm just going to do it later. It's going to be probably hard to summarize it because it doesn't have a lot of images. Let me break these images down, see if how quickly I could summarize these images for you. I guess there are a lot of images, so this will help. This will help quite a bit. And then obviously, so you got these 8 images. So I'm just going to read the images real quick, and then go to the conclusion of what he's basically saying. Oh my goodness, there's 10 images in there. This is a lot longer one than I remember. I reviewed this and got this ready for a couple days ago. 11 images and 12 images. We're going to be going way over here. So I'm going to try to summarize this really quick by just the images. We're just going to go to the 11 images, okay? So bear with me. Here we go. So this is talking about a 2-second window to the Maestro. It's talking about Maestro is a gematria of 91, which, and then this little video that he placed out here was 2 minutes and 20 seconds, which was February 20th. So he's pointing to something on the 20th, right? On this one, it talks about this 204 with this video that he put out. This is the video that they put out, this 2 minute and 20 minute video where they had a couple different songs. He put 2 different videos with 2 different songs of him walking out and showing all the Democrats being all depressed, right? Because he was the president of the United States. And he's pointing to like this Q drop that was 1404, and it was just a bunch of codes. And so he took those codes into a search engine, and the search engine brought him to another 743. The result literally brought him to this post. And it says, investigate those in front of the camera who scream the loudest. So basically saying that the fact that this was posted at 2:04 p.m. led to investigate those in front of the camera who scream the loudest. Then the SB2 goes down to this, where, and in operation order, the 13 angry Democrats. So in this video, it showed all these angry Democrats. You can see the pictures for those of you on here, including Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris. You got the depressed Muslim lady there. It even showed Mitt Romney. I thought that was funny. There's a gal from Hawaii, presidential candidates, Bernie Sanders, right? It shows Pelosi, including Cortez. That's got the penguin, what I call him, Schumer, as well as Shifty Schiff as the 13 different things. And then he says, in Qyou 743, investigate those in front of the camera who scream the loudest. These people are really stupid. End is near. And it says the 13 angry Democrats in charge of the Russia witch hunts are starting to find out that there is a court system in place that actually protects people from injustice. And just wait till the courts get to see your unrevealed conflicts of interest. Just think it's funny that so SB2 is saying that we have a new no name here, right? that's what's going to happen from the Republican from Utah, is just the new no name. Obviously, he showed his cabal colors as I talked about before. Here is the next image 4, and it basically is talking about 2:40 p.m. and it's bringing us a week to remember, because it brought us to 1440, a week to remember. And then you go to image number 5. It's Dow Jones surging to 25,883.25. Now this was really encouraging. We could have talked to Bob about this, but it's basically saying that Trump is now in control of the stock market compared to the cabal now. And the way he got to that was looking at the F-15s, looking at the fact that this 25,883 that it ended up on was why, basically decodes the why. Q predicted the Dow Jones on 2/15/19 and Q 2675 and coded it in the timestamp delta. So the timestamp delta equals Y25. You get to the delta, it brings you to this post, which is February 1st, 2019. And it's going to give us, basically, I need to read this part because I think this is pretty cool. This says, I told you how I'm going to come back here. Now let's take a look at the stock market. Why? Because government fund circulation has an impact on the health of the economy and therefore indirectly on the markets. Did you notice that 215 the Dow jumped 440 points and closed at 25,825? Do you see it? These 225s are the letter Y, and Peruvian coffee, for those who noticed that the 883rd letter of the alphabet is also Y. The Dow that day was YYY, and Q coded it in a time delta 2 weeks before. Let that sink in. So just like they did the 666 drop, they're saying that he coded this. Thank you, Joe Montez. All right, really appreciate it. The white hats have taken control of the stock market. I hope this is so true. And it says here, people think I'm a gambler. This is talking about Trump. It says, I've never gambled in my life. To be a gambler is someone who plays slot machines. I prefer to own the slot machines. It's very good business being the house. And so that just the fact that we may have the rigging of the stock market where they crash it down 666, etc., that we may have control of it again is just encouraging. Here's ancient bloodline families. Why stole your wealth? And so he had a coded messages in all these Q142. How did Soros replace family Y? Who is family Y? Trace the bloodlines of these three families. What is the Fed? What does the Fed control? Who controls the Fed? Who approved the formation of the Fed? Rothschild's estate sale, Black Force, stock market dive. 666, coincidence? Source transfer of wealth. And it's talking about the 666, signal to POTUS, they control the market. Signal, threat. So they, as in the cabal, controlled the market, right? Welcome to the global war. And Dow pledges 666 points. Ancient bloodlines oppose the Federal Reserve and the international central bank systems. Despite so-called regulations, they wrote, they took control of the markets. And that's what happened. But here Trump came around with his Make America Great Again hat. And I'm not going to go over all this in detail. But bottom line is that he does a bunch of decoding. And the conclusion is this. Trump responded to the cabal's two market affronts with a single blow. He synced the funding of the government bill with the Dow hitting YYY. He is demonstrating full control of markets and public sector funding. And here's a couple other things where he decodes that talks about you had this scam of Antifa and Soros given to the Red Cross and all this aid and Planned Parenthood, all scam. And basically now Trump is terminated and monitored those. Who audits where the money actually goes? Who actually receives the money? Slush funds everywhere. The George Soros pays for Antifa out of his own pocket. And it just digs into that more, and it says fund route controlled, bill funded. Next move, 2/20/19. Now he's talking about the funding bill that he got money, and he's talking about trust funds here. Bill funded, fund route trusted and controlled, because now they already closed down the cabal funding from Saudi Arabia, right, way back in 2017. November 5th and 6th when they confiscated all that money from Alawid and everything, right? Now they're confiscating all these assets in the United States through the executive order. And now they start cutting out the funding they're getting through the southern border. They're in big trouble. So he's done doing all this decoding, and it ends up basically talking about reviewing the funding bill with my team at the White House. And it comes down to these capital letters. It turns into RHW and dates. And in the end, it's going to come into, we came here for a reason, they will pay. So I think this is the last, nope, we got the 12th one as well. And this talks about 1 year ago today, horrific act of silence took the lives of 14 students and 3 educators. So he's taking those numbers and he's pointing to different Q posts. He talks about we came here for a reason, talking about the Q boards, right, the 8chan. On the same day as Barr was confirmed, national emergency went public at 3:14 exactly. Remember how he came back to the 3:14 that we saw on the watches way back that was posted on 2/4/19? And where are the tweets from HRC, Bill Clinton, CC, Hussein, others regarding the shooting today, right? make no mistake, they will pay the price. So we came here for a reason. They will pay. And so a bunch of other decoding. The cabal is imploding. Access to the funds terminated. Right? So they don't have access to these funds anymore. And so it's talking about the Rothschilds are in trouble because why? Because they're funding the border. And family Y is going to lose all their money. And Y is fighting Rothschild. And Trump replied to the message sent by family Y through the stock market. That's the main point, is through the stock market. The YYY was basically saying, we control this. We're taking you down. You're going to lose all your funding. You've lost almost of all already. And now you're panicking and you're like rats. And here's the missing F, where he's talking about the Aurora false flag in Chicago, right? Was the type of response expected from the cabal. One F before code it happens, the other F coded after it happened. So we had the funding bill F here, and then the delta was 6 minutes, so we got the false flag. So basically Donald Trump confirming through his 2 tweets that the Aurora Chicago attack was a false flag, so they could have news to talk about everything except for what was happening. The funding of the wall, McCabe making sure everything. And then he basically comes to 1811. What a wonderful day. We are in full attack mode. So the counterattack has happened. It says it happened the next day. Do you remember in F6 I told you to keep? Here is the second one. Capital letters. Flag. The timestamp connects 1811. Where we are told they are in full attack mode, but it's still a wonderful day. Why? Because we took our money back, and they'll now have to fall through the cracks of a national emergency. Q 147. You are witnessing history. Q. So this encouraged me to think that, wow, the whole control of Wall Street they have, and could they be losing that? That's kind of exciting. That's really amazing if that's actually happening. So, guys, we're way over an hour and 11 minutes, and so I misjudged what I could get through here. So join me on Blessed to Teach. Again, Blessed to Teach with the number 2, and come and get the show notes, and also sign up for the email list here so you don't lose track of me as we go away here. I'm going to end on just a scripture, and then we'll pray. Scripture is Corinthians 5:17. It says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old is gone, the new is here. That's a beautiful thing when you think about it. When we accept that free gift of Christ, we actually have the Holy Spirit comes into us, and we become a new creation. We don't change overnight, but Christ starts growing in us. It's just an amazing time. So Corinthians 5:17 is about, if anyone is in Christ, you've accepted that free gift from Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone. That's that sinful nature has gone. And so, it looks like my Zoom just ended. Therefore, if anyone was in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone. The new is here. So if you want to be a new creation in Christ, that's accepting that free gift. What a beautiful, beautiful verse out of the Word. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for this medium to be able to communicate with so many people simultaneously, and all at the same time. Thousands of people we're talking to now, and then even 10 or 20,000 will listen to this afterwards. What a privilege to be able to get the message out of the truth, Lord. We are the news now. Everybody listening to this is the news now. Everybody that tweets and takes memes and forwards it on Facebook or all their social media, they are the news now. Lord, thank you for exposing the mockingbird media for the frauds that they are. Lord, thank you for exposing the State Department for the fraud that is in there. Thank you for support, of exposing the FBI and the DOJ and just the corruption that was there. Thank you for exposing what was happening in the Obama administration. Lord, we just pray that more people will wake up to the truth of this. Lord, give us wisdom, give us discernment on what is true, and let us speak the truth and let the world know the truth as we take back this country for you, as we take back other countries for you, and we get to see your gospel spread. And the beautiful thing that Corinthians 5:7 talks about, that we become a new creation as we accept this free gift of Christ, where the gift of of him dying for us on the cross is imparted to us. His perfect life is imparted as a substitute for us, and our past, present, and future sins get erased as white as snow. How beautiful that is, Lord. Thank you. We love you. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys. We're at 1:15. I never like to go over that. So, again, I'm going to have to skip the discussion. I do apologize. I'll try to get a little less material as we go. I might be taking tomorrow night off, depending on how Qyou goes wild. I need to take one day off this week just to kind of keep myself fresh. But God bless you guys, because I try to do Saturday and Sundays. And so I'm trying to take Fridays and Tuesday, Wednesday off. We'll see how that goes. But thank you all for joining. I do want to wrap up with a couple things. I do have obviously the Prepare with Rick for those of you with survival food want to do some preparing. So make sure you go to preparewithrick.com on that. But this is the February 19th Blessed Teach Show. I'm Rick, your host. We got through an SB Decode, a real summarized one, but most of all, we got to talk to Trade Genius about a lot of what the Fed's doing, etc., as well as we're able to go over tons of new Qyou posts. We are Qyou. We are the news. How exciting. God bless you guys, and we'll talk to you next time.